There are tons of medium format film rangefinders out there, some more popular than others. Today I want to talk about one that often gets overlooked. The Fuji GW690II, a 6x9 medium format film camera. It's a completely mechanical camera, so there's no batteries, no light meter, and it has a fixed 90mm Fujinon lens. The lens on this camera is insanely sharp and it has beautiful contrast. The field of view is about 40mm in 35mm format, so it's a great all-round focal length. So one thing you might notice about this camera is it's quite large, comparable to a brick. But given the size of the negatives it produces, it's not really an issue. So what I like about the camera is it's so simple to use. There's no bells and whistles to it, but it produces insanely detailed photographs. I've only had the camera 3 months now, but it's become my favourite camera. I paid about $430 US, which is roughly about 600 Australian. Considering what many of the more popular medium format rangefinders go for, this thing is an absolute steal. Here are a few of the images I've made with the camera in the last few months, just so you can see what it can do. So there's a couple things I should mention before you go out and buy this camera. You only get 8 shots per 120 roll. And for the work I make, it sort of only comes out for those special shots anyway, like for a body of work or something. So it's not really a problem if you shoot that way. The other thing I should mention about this camera is the T mode. So the T mode in this camera is essentially bulb mode, but it's a bit strange with how it works. So what you have to do if you want to do an exposure longer than 1 second is you set the shutter to T mode, you press your shutter button, that will open the leaf shutter, but to finish the exposure the camera actually won't let you press the shutter button to finish it. You can do it 2 ways. You can change the shutter speed, that will close the shutter and finish your exposure, or you can wind your film crank and that'll do the same, it'll finish your exposure. But of course that will introduce camera shake. So what I like to do is use a lens cap to finish my exposure, then I'll wind. So a lens cap or a hat will work. So you count to 4, you're waiting for your exposure to finish, take your hat off, put it over the lens, wind on, and then there's your long exposure. So who is this camera for? If you're a rangefinder lover, or even someone that's just a methodical shooter and wants to get the most out of a negative, the GW690 is definitely a camera to consider.